Good morning, children. I welcome you all to the class of statistics. Till now, you have completed 3 chapters of statistics, and by now you must be familiar with the definition of statistics, the method of collection of data, and the different sources of collection of data. Now we move to the 4th chapter, that is frequency distribution. Now before starting the 4th chapter, I would like to make it clear with you what is meant by statistics in brief. Now statistics, as you have learnt earlier, that can be defined in 2 senses, in the plural sense and in the singular sense. In the singular sense, statistics means the collection of data, the organization of data, the presentation of data, and the interpretation of data. These are 4 things: collection, organization, presentation, and interpretation of data in the singular sense. Whereas in the plural sense, statistics is the collection of aggregate of numerical data. What do you mean by aggregate of numerical data? As you have learnt earlier, single figure does not mean statistics, or single data does not denote statistics. Can you tell why? The reason is, suppose you state that person A, or you say that Ram has scored 50 marks in English. Does it mean statistics? Though it is a numerical data or numerical figure, but it won't be called statistics because a single figure is not capable for any type of comparison. You cannot compare the marks of one student with anybody until unless you quote the marks of different other students also who are appearing in the same exam. So in the plural sense, statistics means aggregate of facts, whereas in the singular sense, statistics means collection, organization, presentation, and interpretation of data. Now let us move to the chapter frequency distribution. Here, as this shows 4 steps, this is clear that first one is collection of data. This is the first step in statistics. First we collect the data according to our purpose of inquiry. Now purpose of inquiry has to be very clear before collecting the data. Suppose you want to do the survey of a particular locality. You want to know that how many people are educated in a particular locality or how many are uneducated. Similarly, your purpose of inquiry may be that how many are male and how many are female living in a particular society. So this purpose of inquiry should be clear in your mind, and according to the purpose of inquiry, the data is collected. So this is called collection of data. And in the previous chapters, you have studied about different methods of collecting data, so I need not repeat it here. So we move to the second point, that is organization of data. What is meant by organization of data? The collected data itself has no meaning until and unless it is organized in a proper form. If you don't organize the data, you just collect the data regarding the number of males and number of females living in a society. That won't solve your purpose until and unless you specify that how many are living in a particular area, or you can say you have to categorize that according to age group you can categorize, or according to the income group you can categorize number of males and females living in different society. Then you can say that this particular society have this type of people living, or you can say whether rich are there or poor are there. Or this way you can just specify the collected data in a more descriptive manner. And collected data, it is in a raw form, it is an unorganized data, it is just like a lump of clay which has no shape. And it is very necessary to organize the data for meaningful statistical investigation. Now let us come to this point, what is meant by organization of data. When we say that collected data has to be organized, then it should be clear in your mind what is meant by organization of data. As it says, organization of data is a process in which collected data are organized for comparison and further analysis. Now here certain points are: this collected data are organized for comparison and further analysis. So the data is organized in a proper systematic manner. Why it is organized? For comparison and for further statistical analysis. Because if you don't organize the data, you cannot make any statistical analysis or comparison of according to your purpose of inquiry. So collected data has to be organized for comparison and further statistical analysis. Now we come to the another form. This is the classification of data. Now first step in the organization of data is classification of data. How do you organize the data? Organizing the data is not an easy job, because if you take it that in your locality there are living only 20 children, or you are making a survey of only 50 people, then it is comparatively easier. But if you are making the survey of, or you are collecting the data of 2,000 people or 5,000 people, then in that case, until unless you classify the data in a simple form, you cannot carry on with your statistical analysis. So classification is the first step in organization of data. Now what is classification? Classification is the process by which collected data are put into different classes. Now what do you mean by classes here? Classes means that you divide the data into different groups or categories on the basis of their qualities and attributes. What do you mean by qualities and attributes? That means on the basis of their characteristics. That may be you are dividing suppose there is a class in which there are 40 students. You can divide the students on the basis of their age, or you can divide the students on the basis of their height, or you can divide the students on the basis of subjects they have offered, or you can divide the students according to the marks they have obtained. Similarly, if you are doing the survey in a factory, then you can divide the workers on the basis of how many are skilled, how many are unskilled. In the educated group, you can divide the workers into how many are highly educated or how many are less educated. So in this way, the classification of data according to their qualities or attributes, that is known as classification, or the process of classification. That is, the collected data are put into different classes on the basis of their qualities or attributes. Now after classification, now this part, I think this is clear to you. First is collection, then organization. Now this presentation interpretation, we are not taking it now, because this you will be doing in later chapters. We are concerned here mainly about organization of data and frequency distribution, because organization of data is done with the help of table or frequency distribution. So this presentation interpretation we will do later. Before we proceed to the frequency distribution, let me make it clear to you certain concepts which are very important for you to understand. Then only you will know what is frequency and what is meant by frequency distribution. First concept here is the concept of variable. First is variable. Now what does it mean? First is variable. What does variable mean? Variable means anything which varies, that is called variable. As the term denotes, variable means anything which varies. You know that production of wheat, or you can say that marks of students, that is not same every year, or every time when you measure it, it is not going to give you the same result. That keeps on changing with the passage of time or with the course of time. Similarly, weight of individuals or height of people, or you can say children, that changes up to a certain age. So this way, that increases up to a certain age. So anything like height, weight, that keeps on changing, that varies, so this is known as a variable. So you can say anything which is capable of being measured, and you can say which changes its value, with time, is known as variable. So there are two main features in variable, that is being measured and changes its value with time. I can give you another example, as I gave you the example of weight and height. Another example is prices of commodities. You know that prices of commodities does not remain same in the market. That keeps on changing. How does it change? That keeps on changing on the basis of market conditions, or you can say on the basis of demand and supply. So this is a variable. Same way, income of a person, that doesn't remain same throughout the life. It changes, and normally it increases with the passage of time. So this way you can say income or prices of commodities, height, weight, etc. These are all considered as variables. So it's clear to you what are variables? After knowing the meaning of variable, we come to the next point, that is what are different types of variables. Now variables are of two types, that is continuous variable and discrete variable. So variables are of two types, continuous variable and discrete variable. Now let us discuss about these. First one is continuous variable. What do you mean by continuous variable? It can take any value in a specified interval. For example, height and weight of students, wages of workers in a factory, that is known as continuous variable. It can take in the form of integral values. Integral values means 1, 2, 3, 4. We can denote it like this. This is known as continuous variable, or it can be denoted as 1.5. That is, it can be denoted it in fractions. 1.5, 2 upon 4, 3 upon 4, like this. So this is known as continuous variable, which can be expressed in fractions. Another way to express continuous variable is give the class interval 10 to 15 or 15 to 20. That means any data which is falling in this category, that is known as continuous variable. That means it is changing between 50 to 20 or 10 to 15. This is known as continuous variable. Now what is discrete variable? Discrete variables are expressed in terms of complete numbers. That means they are expressed, discrete one, they are expressed in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or any one like this. But remember, discrete variables cannot be expressed in fractions. That means you cannot say 1 or 1.5, you cannot say 1.5 or 0.5 or 2.5 like this. For example, if you are giving the number of students in a class, you have to give the number of students in a complete number, 30, 31, 32 like this, but you cannot say 30.5. Similarly, you are giving the number of machines in a factory. You have to give the complete number of machines. You cannot say 2.5 or 3.5 because in this case half doesn't have any value. So all the variables which are expressed in complete numbers, these are known as discrete variables, and these three types, this is known as continuous variable. Frequency. What does frequency mean? Frequency means the number of times an item appears in a series, that is called frequency. So actual meaning of frequency is how many times a particular item appears in the series, that is frequency. For example, here 10 is appearing 2 times. So it means that frequency of 10 is 2. That means 2 children have scored 10 marks. That means the frequency of 10 marks is 2. Now we come to the next, another easy form of this. This is known as tally bars. You know what are tallies? When the data is explained here, like for this, the same example we'll take to explain the tallies. Now here, suppose don't look at this, you are making tallies out of this. First you get the raw data, arrange the data in the ascending or descending anyways, and suppose you are taking this form, ascending order. Now the marks are 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 and 45. Now instead of arranging it like this, if the raw data is given to you, you note down the marks. Now out of this you say, you check it that 30, once it is 30 here, this is one tally, 25 is included once only, 15 is here once, then 30 again, then 20, then 20 again, then 10, then 45, and then 20, after 45 again 20, then again 10, then 18, then 12, then 35, then 40 and then 12. These are known as tallies. Each stroke gives one number, and on the basis of this, instead of arranging the data in the ascending descending order, you have made the tallies. Suppose there are hundreds of figures over here, you just note down the tallies of each, and then total number is denoted in the form of frequency. Here it is 2, in this case it is 2, here 1, 1, it is 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. This again, this will give you the total picture of 15 students in the class. So this is known as tally bars. And here in this case, suppose there are hundreds of figures, then suppose any item is appearing for 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 you will denote like this, 4 times. 5 times will denote making like this. This means that a group of 5 you have denoted. This means 5 numbers, 5 times any item has appeared in the series. Same way another 5 may be then denoted, and this is counted as 10. So it makes it easier for counting, otherwise you will be making the strokes and then counting, then it will be a tedious job again. So just to make it easier, we make a group of 5 and then do the total. This is known as tally bars. Okay. Now till here we have completed the frequency distribution. A part of it we have completed. Next time we will continue with the statistical series. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Okay. Thank you very much.